Yeah, I'm going to start recording this session just in case anybody else wants to check in. So good. So here we go. If you haven't found this yet, and I'm gonna share the PDF, or I'm gonna share a PDF of this session with everyone that include links to these videos. If you haven't seen this video, oh my God, it's a prize winner. This is 2 days into the Corona lockdown, and it happens to have come from Israel, but the thing has gone super viral. It's all over the place. It's this woman doing a 90-second full blast rant about how she can't keep up with her kids. We know that we've had a lot of press coverage about this in other places about parents just getting slammed and socked. And you know, a lot of what I've seen in other school systems are places that have gone super fast into streaming video or to doing Zoom chats. All this sort of live face-to-face contact. And you know, sometimes that expectation that kids are going to learn when you have a class set up just isn't the right way to go. And I think we've learned quickly about the difference between synchronous and asynchronous work. Some responses that we've seen from educators as well, you know, they've shared feedback that, you know, just making dialogue, making interactivity happen in these Zoom sessions, like just wasn't working for them. And kids are also talking about that thing of like, they're doing all this work, but they're feeling less productive. So, you know what I'm looking for, and I think, you know, the pedagogy and the teaching theory behind these tools, none of these tools have superpowers. These tools are just communications platforms, but I think if we use them well, we can start to build classes around the needs of our kids. So for example, the synchronous versus asynchronous. You know, synchronous, are you there at the same time in real time? Or asynchronous, you know, if you're home and you have to take care of your siblings during the day, maybe you can't get to the classwork until 8:30 at night. So some of these tools let kids get access to learning when is good for them, which I like about. And I also like the fact that, you know, we can get kids past learning facts to actually applying skills or creatively expressing themselves. So that's the value that we get out of a platform like this. And this is going to be one of the first examples that I take you to. So just a quick little touch base. Let's see who's live and with us. I won't share people's emails, but most of us have used Padlet a little bit, but we're mostly feeling like our Padlet skills are, you know, kind of on the minimal side. Nobody thinks that they're a Padlet pro, and you know, guess what? I'm leading this presentation right now, and I took this poll also. So I'm not going to dare call myself a pro. I think we're all here to learn, and as learners, we can all approach this kind of on equal footing, and that is totally fine. So let me start by looking at examples of a couple of different Padlets, and I'm going to replace this PowerPoint with my dashboard. Now, take a peek on the upper left-hand side. We do have, I reached out to Padlet and said, you know, hey, I'm an administrator. I'm interested in looking at your stuff. What can you do for us? And presto, within an hour, they had upgraded me to an account. I just sent email to tech support for Padlet and said, hi, I'm talking to a bunch of our folks. What can you do for us? So just by virtue of answering that Google survey and by RSVPing, I'm going to see if I can get account upgrades. But from my starting page, I want to show you the very first assignment that I put out in Padlet. And it was a project that I asked some students in a coding class. It was a project that I asked students in a coding class to do. And here's what I gave them. Here's an example of ways that we can use this to do some of the communications. And I'll show you a couple. So I created a single post, and the single post had some video embedded. That video is a screencast of me walking students through an assignment and basically taking them step by step, showing them what they needed to do in order to do an assignment. So I did that for a particular reason. I knew that I wanted kids to be able to work in a self-paced fashion. and I wanted them to be able to get this done without me. So I gave them a demo for how they could do the assignment. Then I did the assignment myself. And in doing the assignment, I just put up a link to some piece of computer code that I wrote, and that modeled the activity that I wanted them to do. So the way that I got that Padlet to exist was creating a new posting, going in and using this link, enter any URL. And here, let me do that actually in real time. Say I wanted to take one of my, here you go. Say I wanted to take one of the instructional videos or one of the CTE videos that I created and link that in. It's going to take a couple seconds to chew through it, and great, CTE video session. So it's nice to be able to grab this particular link. You can give it web pages. I chose to give it a video. If you give it a video, it'll give you a little play button, and yeah, lo and behold, there it is. I'm going to stop that so we don't have to look through it. But I just wanted you guys to see the range of options that you have in being able to put content up. So in the one thing that I discovered also pretty quickly, say I want to link out to another web page. So let me copy this web address, and I'm gonna add a new tab, and let's call it my code. And instead of using the link, I'm just gonna take that web address, put it right in here, and go ping, and you can see it saves as a clickable link. There you go. That'll open it in a new window. So the assignment that I gave for my students was, okay, look at my video, look at my model assignment, see how I responded to that assignment, and then do your own. Give us links, and then I use that Padlet as a way of giving feedback. So again, just one example for a way that you can show off content to kids. If you have if you've checked out some of the screen capture software, like Screencastify is one that a lot of people in the network have been talking about. That lets me record a video, do an assignment based on it, and then ask my other kids to create posts. Let me retire that, and again, just to show one or two other examples. We did a session a day or two ago talking about, like, how are we thinking about education? How are we thinking about education as we do as we do our distance learning assignments? And so we talked about Maslow and Bloom and Gardner and Tomlinson, and basic questions that I put out to division leaders or school administrators, like, how are you going to address the basic needs that underlie learning? Those basic needs are your kids safe? Do they have a regular schedule? Is there food? Is everybody okay at home? And I set up a column where people could add in responses. And the same thing for different strategies. So how did I create that kind of a Padlet? Well, I wanna go from soup to nuts and actually build this in real time to show you guys how you can make a quick prompt where you give lead questions to kids and then ask them to respond. So, but before I push that any further, use the chat box and let me know, is that a helpful exercise for you? Because I don't mind turning on a dime if you'd rather have me do something else, because I want to start just building one Padlet from scratch, and then I'd like to go from there and just kind of crowdsource ideas and ask you what you might like assistance with, and we'll suggest some custom ideas. So I'm going to just pause for a sec and either listen for people to key on their mics or to jump in to the chat box. And so the ask is, would it be helpful if I go through and like rebuild this in real time? Somebody give me a shout out and either a thumbs up or thumbs down on that next step.
Hello. Quick question. This is Sael Hernandez from Uplift Luna. I made an account before coming to this session, and I see different Padlet options. I just wanted to know if that was going to be part of the conversation at some point. Maybe that's something you could speak to right now. Like, what type of Padlet is better for what type of activity? Just what do they lend themselves to, and how have you used those in the past? And maybe we could start off with this one as well, or this type
Yeah,
of Padlet.
that's great. Yeah, and let me do that. Okay, so again, so not the they give you a couple different boilerplates, that you can use, and that's perfect. So we'll do that in a session. And Mona, also thank you for the feedback. So let me jump into the dashboard. And by the way, so I'll jump back in if you think that I'm not going there. Let me start out in the here and now. Okay, so make a Padlet. Okay, so for the one that I built right here, okay, I chose a shelf because I knew that I was going to have a category of a couple of lead questions, and I wanted kids to be able to, answer or respond under a set of columns that I was going to structure from the beginning. But the other ones that I made, let me actually go back a step. Let me pull over here one that I made to demonstrate a very, very different kind of Padlet. This isn't the one that we'll build. We'll build the Blackboard one, but this I made this one just using the open canvas. So that open canvas, I wanted to have complete freedom for where kids would be able to place things. So let me describe the assignment. We have a group in Plano, and they got connected to another school overseas. It's actually a school in Jerusalem. So we sent them a video, which is linked over here. And then the kids overseas sent us back another video, and we're trading some pictures. So I wanted to be able to start, like, have a little pathway. I wanted to be able to draw lines of connection, like I just did right there, using connect with post. So I wanted you to be able to see the flow of the conversation. Our opener, they replied, and then the folks overseas in Israel asked questions of the kids in Dallas. So for me, like, that kind of blank space, that kind of canvas space, so I select that. There it is. No, I have no structure. I have this open space that I can use however I want. So I'm going to drop that off for a second, since we're going to make the shelf one. But let me just pause. So if you want open space and you can move anything around, I always like the canvas best. The shelf is good if you want to structure a conversation. Like if you want to do a KWL chart, the shelf is a really good one, because you know that you've got you want to file things away in specific places. I don't find the map very helpful. I find it confusing and sort of hard to use, so I don't really recommend it. But if you were going to do something like a timeline, like if you want to do something in a Spanish class, you want to organize a narrative, that can be kind of nice. You could have the beginning, middle, and end of a story, and you could say, ask one student to start the story, another student to continue, and another student to add the end. You could do like a tag team story. And that does two of the things that we really want to encourage. Kids get to learn at their own pace, and they can interact any time of day. So quick pause. So, is that helpful? Just a bit of that overview?
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Okay, great. You're welcome. Good. And I totally appreciate it. And again, like, I'm here, I prepare with a lot of examples, but I mostly want to put out stuff that's helpful for you. So your agenda is more important than mine. So let's build one tablet. Let's build one Padlet quickly, and then I'm just going to work around anything that you guys have to suggest. Okay, great. And the question in the chat, and like I said, I'm going to stop every time you bring in questions. Like I said, your agenda more important than mine. So let me speak to. Mona asked a question about getting names attached to Padlets. So I chose to leave my Padlet open, and I'll show you the security settings when we build this next one. I didn't want to throw out barriers to kids so that they had to log in and remember one more password. It felt like too much. So I could have chosen, if we were in school working in face to face and using this for a blended classroom where I had kids in class and I could tell them, hey, let's all log in together. Let's all make sure you have this. I'd be able to support the kids going through that. But if they're just tapping a link off a cell phone, I didn't want one more account to slow them down. So that's the reason that these answers, these answers are recorded with my name because I was already logged in. But let me ask you guys, I'm gonna send the link to this Padlet out under the chat box. So everyone with the chat window has a link into the pedagogy and practice bulletin board. So feel free to pop in, add some posts, add some posts in real time, and let's see what happens. And you'll see the way that it appears. Don't write any big novels, but I want you to see from like the owner's side what it will look like if some anonymous person pops up. So just inviting anybody, click into that link, grab one of these to make a new edition, and I'll navigate back there to see what you guys have added. Okay, someone added Al. Love watching this in real time. Okay, great. All right, so yeah, great. So it's updating real time. And you can see that it's showing up anonymously. So if you want there to be, accountability, then yeah, you definitely need to tell your kids if putting a Padlet response is a requirement, then they've got to put their initials or they've got to put their name. So whoever said cool, it's live. So would you go like edit your post or figure out if you put the title is going to show up in big fonts. So do you want to have them put their name like as the last line? So it's like, oops, sorry. So it's kind of smaller over here. And that's your choice as teacher. Great, Mona, nice, good. Great. Now, as you guys continue on this, I'm going to jump back. Okay, and Sael, and I like the way you did that because we get a title, we get content, and then at the very end, like the rest of the students you want the students to jump in and look at the content first, but the teacher's going to be the one that cares. Did everyone respond and did everyone do this assignment? So I think this is a really nice way of doing it. However, you could also set up the class so that you want the names front and center. It's totally your call as the teachers. Totally your call as the teachers. So I'm gonna back up a bit and let's create that shelf. So here we go. Oops, this is embarrassing. All right, well, no worries. Good. So I'm going to start my new Padlet, and I'm going to call this my P Pro Demo Live, and I'm going to say great, from soup to nuts for a new Padlet. Now here's the thing though. Let's say you have a specific image. Oops, sorry, keep breaking. I have a specific image that I'd like to use in the background. Okay, so here's where life starts to get interesting and what I appreciate about Padlet. So I really want this blackboard to be in the background. And I did a Google search in advance. I'm going to right click and I'm going to open up this image in a new tab. And yep, there it is. There's my board. Now, I will just for public, since I'm on camera here, I will encourage us to check that these are actually publicly usable images before we do these. So for the moment, I'm going to assume that that's the case. And I promise I'll erase this Padlet if this is a private image that doesn't belong to me. So I'm going to save this image. I'm going to call it bboard and save it to my desktop. Okay, great. So I got this image saved to my desktop. Bye-bye. Now I'm still building my new Padlet here. So, okay, I want to control my background, and I think I want to add my own picture. So I could, by the way, I could search Google, for images, but I decided here that I'm going to pick a file, and that's going to come from my desktop. Here it is, keyboard, loading now, and okay, there we go. I've got a blackboard, and do I want to blur the image? Nah, I think that's fine. Okay, good. So I've set the background for my Padlet. Now, one or two other things. New post position. Do you want to allow comments? Do you want to allow scholars to comment on other scholars? I usually turn the comments off um, just because it leaves one possible channel for things to go wrong. And honestly, I don't want to have content get up here that I'm going to be embarrassed or that I have to take down. So, sorry about that, but just putting a little bit of protection in place. What I have done is allowed people to give reactions. Now, I don't like the upvote or downvotes, and you can decide if you want star ratings or not. I'm just going to leave a heart. So if somebody wants to go, give a thumbs up or a heart or a like to someone's posting, they have that option. However, I always do this. Once you toggle this, require approval, if some anonymous person comes in and posts to the Padlet, it will show up on the owner's screen, and you will get to click allow or delete before anybody else sees it. So I specifically took that off for the Blackboard that you all were using in real time because I knew I was sending it to educators. I wasn't worrying that someone would misuse it. So okay, that's pretty good. So I've got all of those controlled down in place. Start posting dynamite. Now there's one other thing that I'm gonna have us be aware of. Okay, once you're done, and it's the one down of Padlet. I don't like that they do this, but I've learned to live with it. If I want, once I've already made it, got to go back one more time and deal with my privacy settings. So here's what I mean when I say privacy. Right now, this is private. Nobody else can get to it. Well, if I want scholars to be able to just hit a link and get to it, that doesn't help much. I don't want to slow them down with a password, and we don't yet have an organizational-wide Padlet. So what I've chosen is this setting, secret. So secret means you can't go and just find it on the internet, but if you send anyone a link, anyone that has that link can get to this. So now, I'll do this in a minute. Now I've opened up access to it, and I'm going to invite you guys to give some to put some responses up. So let's just make some quick and simple one. Ice cream, favorite ice cream, good. Add column. These are going to be food related today. I have no idea. Pizza topping, good. Let's see. When you're at a restaurant, soup or salad. Why? I think that'll get us stopping. And let's see. All right. I think that's about as far as I can go. If I go any further down the line, I'm going to get fired from my job. So I'll stop with that. What I want to do now is I'm going to take this Padlet. I'm going to send the link to it out to you guys. And I'm going to invite you to post. So we've gone in just a couple of minutes from a blank screen to setting up some columns that we want scholars to reply to. And I'm going to hang out here and wait for you all to reply. So because I want you to see what the approval settings look like. So to take a stab using the link that I just put out in the chat box. And somebody promised me that you're responding because I'm otherwise just watching a blank screen. It's view only, and you can't add response. Okay, let's see. Change privacy. Change privacy, add members, secret. Okay, guess what? Okay, so guess what I messed up. Good. Mistakes teach, it's, you learn more when you get it wrong than when you get it right. Okay, here's what I forgot to do. Visitors can read. Okay, no, that's not what I want. I need to remember that visitors can write. Keep working. Okay, good. So once I say visitors can write, okay, guys, try that again. And my apologies. Now you should be able to get in. Everyone's going for ice cream. Coconut, good, lively. Okay, mint chocolate chip, you've won my heart. Okay, so you'll see quickly that you can only see your reply on the screen. So, you know, let's say, what if someone comes up with something that, you know, might not be appropriate for the school setting, like, you know, amaretto di Serono on my ice cream. Maybe you're not going to approve that one, but approve, approve, approve. I've approved half of these, so you guys should be able to see. You guys should be able to see these now. And if any difficulty, you know, refresh, because Texans put meat and cheese on their side. Okay. All right. Great, I'm impressed. So I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna give you guys 10, 15 more seconds to put up your replies. Is this going to get me fired? If not, whiskey. Yeah, okay, whiskey good. You need to specify a brand name on the whiskey, okay? I'm a bourbon guy, so I hear you. Pineapple. And by the way, I just learned something new here. I didn't realize how quickly this platform works. I didn't realize that you really could see all of the postings, even as they're being drafted. So that kind of impresses me, actually. I didn't know that. Okay, great. Okay. All right, so we just saw the process again, and this was within like 10 minutes, like literally 10 minutes. We went from this blank, total blank slate to a platform that you guys are using in real time. So, okay, now let me give you guys one more assignment as long as you're here. I want you to look to someone else's post, okay? I don't care which category. Everybody pick 2 posts to give a heart to. Yep, keep going, we're starting that already. Awesome. Okay, so this could be a really great, now if you had fewer of these, let somebody take a post that already has a heart on it and star that, like pick another post that's already been liked. Okay, great. So you see, and you can see what happens that once you start doing that, there you go. So you can use this as a voting platform as well, not a real-time voting platform, but you know, a place where kids can see what other people are doing. And that's the whole point. We want interactivity. We want interactivity. I mean, if we're physically separate from each other, then we're stuck with that at some point. And Rob, tell me what can I do for you? Want me to give you control?
Yeah, it wouldn't let me choose a heart. So I think I was thinking it was because I didn't have access to actually work in your screen.
No, you can do that. You can do that from your screen. So I'm gonna decline the request, but try. That's interesting. Sometimes, like if you hit it in the wrong place, like here, I'm trying to hit the Hawaiian pizza one. Like I had to get my cursor exactly over the heart. So try that. Are you on a tablet or are you on a laptop?
I'm on my laptop. I'm on what is this? An Acer.
Is it a touch? Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. So I don't know. Shout out if anybody else had the same issue. I had to
Oh,
I had to get my cursor like right over the heart for it to show up and just kind of click in the right place.
Alan, this is Karen. The arrow will change to a hand when you're on the right spot, so you know.
Bingo. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, was moving too quickly to notice that. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to do one last thing as sort of as owner of this. Okay. So let's say that I think this is a pretty good platform, or like if this is a framework that my kids are used to, and I want them to be able to have the same visual, the same shelf, the same kind of thing. So there's a control to be able to do that. I'm going to go over here to the upper right hand side. Let me highlight that. Let me highlight that for you guys as well. So if I decide that I like this and I want to use it a couple of times, well, I'm going to remake this Padlet, and I'm going to call it. This is going to be my lesson number 2. I want to copy the design, but I don't, not here, I get to make a choice. Do I want to transfer all of these posts over? Or do I want to start with just the design? So I decided that I want to keep the same design and I want to keep the same privacy settings. Okay, so good. So I just hit submit, remake and process. And there you go. Now I got a brand new board to work from that works just like the old one. Different address, of course. Okay. So I'm going to pop off screen share for a second, and actually let me go back to my owner page and see if I can find one or two other things. Step out of the profile. Yeah. Okay. So we paid attention to the shelf boilerplate, to the canvas boilerplate. Look, these are just they're just preset options for where they place the posts. Timeline might be a nice one to experiment with, and for me, honestly, that'll be new. Let's say I just want to use all of their presets, start posting. So what they'll do is first second, you get the idea that timeline, as opposed to letting things flow all over the place, will just give you that line all across the board. One last thing I want to pay attention to, something that I like about Padlet, which actually makes me like it a little more than Flipgrid, is the fact that you have so many different options for the kind of content to put up. So like, say I want to pin a place. So let's see, can I, actually, sorry. Okay, great. I'm going to take you to my favorite restaurant, right? Jeff's Vegan in Frisco. Images, video, GIFs, web. Okay, great. So with a couple of clicks, if kids see something, contents that's available out on the web, they can easily get that there. Just the level of flexibility that you have to get stuff from the web easily on screen is helpful. There are two other things that I like a lot. I like the voice prompt, because some kids are camera shy but will really enjoy being on mic. Other kids, if you want to be able to just use the camera, I like the idea of using a mix of digital and physical products. So if we want kids to actually do to actually create something, with paper and pencil and scissors and glue, take a picture of it and then put it up on screen, then that's the kind of thing we want. It probably, since I'm screen sharing right now, it probably will not let me get access to the photo booth. But again, just one up of Padlet is that you can connect to other things, including, well, say I want to take you back to, there you go, one of my demos. I can take internal to one Padlet and drop a link to another one as part of it. There you go. So if you click off of there, then boom, you link stuff together. Now, by the way, teachers, think about that. If you want to create a series of Padlets, say you create like one of these digital journeys where you have kids answer a question at step 1 and then answer another question at step 2. So each of those steps could be a Padlet, and you could just put up one of the links, or you could have like your home page. And so say instead of my swanky Padlet, I'm going to call this my assignment homepage. So all you need to do is give kids one link to assignment homepage, and then this could be assignment visit this restaurant and visit this restaurant and write a review, or more likely for that kind of a process, have your assignments each on one different Padlet page where they'll go through a journey, respond and do the work on that page. So by linking them together, you can then take kids through a series of work. So let me pause there, kind of drop my screen share, drop my screen share for a second, and turn back to you guys. How well has this session done for you so far? Yeah, okay. And Karen, I'll respond to that. I just got a message from someone reminding me to tell you, if you are on the free Padlet account, they're going to limit the number. of Padlets that you can make to 3, which is pretty useless. You can't do much of it. I have email out to Padlet's tech support, and if they're as good as they say they are. No, okay, haven't seen back from them yet. I'm basically gonna ask Padlet to take everyone on this call and give you account upgrades so that you can have an unlimited number of Padlets. Tell me anything else. What can I do for you that would be helpful? If you have a specific project that you want to work on with me, zip me a message and let me know. We can do it outside of the call. But I'd like everyone to use the chat window or use your microphones. Just give me a little bit of feedback about how this session was for you. So I haven't, I haven't used the mobile app yet. I kind of like doing this design on big screen. But I'm still waiting that, and that's kind of my last hurdle. I feel like at Uplift, like we're still testing Padlet to see how much we like it. Thanks, Meredith. Yeah, the KWL chart. Now here's a good question for everybody. If you were going to do a KWL chart, what style of Padlet would you want? Do you like that shelf, or do you just want an open canvas? Do you want to keep it structured? I'm gonna look for one last bit of feedback from anybody. Yeah, shelf, got it. Great. Okay, so guys, I'm gonna send out to everybody that RSVP'd. I was recording the session. Hopefully the recording worked. I'm gonna send out links for all the stuff we did via email to everybody that RSVP'd. Timeline for scientific method is great. I love that idea. Temperature check, right. Awesome. So again, they're like, you guys know what you need in your teaching spaces. You know, Padlet and Flipgrid and Google Docs, these are all just spaces to trade information. So I'm glad that they're there, but I come back to the same place always. You are the owners of your classroom. You know what you need, and you're the ones who, you know, we'll get to make decisions about how this stuff will help you best. So I'm gonna sign off at that point. We've booked an hour, but if I can take less than an hour of your time, I know that no one will complain. I think we got a good chance to look at how to build these things out, ways that we can use them, and we've already stirred the pot for how to use Padlet in your classrooms. So that's a great starting place. And I'll hang out on the chat box for just a minute or two if anybody else wants to tap me with something. But otherwise, thank you for your time. And as always, just thank you for learning together. It's great to do this work with you.